In 1991, an entire night in Kashmir was stolen from women. 35 years later, not a single perpetrator has been held accountable. This is not a rumor. This is not a footnote. This is one of the most documented atrocities in all of the history of the Kashmir conflict, and yet it is one of the most deliberately ignored. It happened on February 23, 1991, in two villages in northern Kashmir, Kunan and Poshpora, villages that until that night were quiet, ordinary, and invisible to the world, but by morning would be a symbol of something far, far darker. That night, Indian armed forces entered the area under the pretext of a crackdown. The men, fathers, brothers, and sons, were dragged out of their homes at gunpoint and escorted to fields and barns where they were held in the frigid cold. Their families were left behind, trapped in their homes, waiting in fear. And then the uniformed men went door to door. What followed has been documented by international human rights organizations as one of the gravest instances of sexual violence in the entirety of the Kashmir conflict. Between 23 and 100 women between the ages of 13 and 80 were gang raped throughout the night, inside their homes and under the threat of guns. A local magistrate who had investigated the incident said that he was ashamed to even put pen to paper about this incident. He said that the uniformed officials behaved like wild animals. The evidence existed, the testimonies were there, and yet what followed was immediate denial. The Indian Army rejected the accusations. The case was closed in 1991 and declared unfit for prosecution, not because the crime did not happen, but because the power to erase it was stronger than the will to confront it. It took more than 2 decades and sustained pressure from survivors, activists, and a public interest case for the High Court to order a reinvestigation in 2013. And yet 13 years later, in 2026, not a single person has been prosecuted. Laws like the Armed Forces Special Powers Act continue to act as a shield, turning uniforms into immunity while evidence turns into inconvenience. But the pain did not end with that night. The survivors were forced to carry a second sentence, this one social, permanent, and cruel. Their villages were branded as the rape villages. They were ostracized, their families ostracized. Daughters grew up in stigma that they did not create and could not escape. This crime did not just attack bodies, it tried to erase dignity, futures, and belonging. So ask yourself this. If this has happened anywhere else in the world, would we still be waiting for justice after 35 years? What kind of message does this send to the victims, to the perpetrators, and to the future? Every February 23rd, Kashmir observes Women's Resistance Day. Not to mourn, but to demand that which was always denied: truth, justice, and accountability. This is not just history, this is impunity in real time. And if the world remains silent, then silence will become part of the crime. Share this. Talk about it. Don't look away, because the least we can do is to make sure that the world can never say that it did not know.